If you've ever wanted to know how to buy and sell coins and make a little extra cash, then this video is for you. Now, this is part 2 of part 1. And you don't have to watch that video first, but I do recommend watching it after you watch this video to help clarify a few points that I made in here. But I tell you what to use to buy coins with as far as price guides are concerned, like a gray sheet. I also tell you where and when and how to buy coins and to sell coins. So that's some information that is in more detail in the other video. So I hope you do watch it. For now, this is Daniel with Coin Help You YouTube channel. Thanks for watching my latest video. And please like, share, and comment, and click the little bell beside the subscribe button. Let's go ahead and cover a few points that were in the comments, and also some new information that might add some more details to help you make some extra cash selling some coins. You know, if you want to get into some bullion, I do recommend buying a Sigma. There's a lot of fake bars out there, and also I recommend getting a silver slide, especially for the magnets, because a lot of those bars will stick to a magnet. A lot of your fake silver eagles will stick to magnets. I know it's not a perfect way to test silver, but it helps eliminate some of it, and also helps eliminate the ones that stick to the magnet. Another thing, make sure you read everything that's on the bars. Some of them will have 0.99 clad, or 0.99 nickel, or 0.99 plated, or 0.99 and it only has, you know, so many grains on it. You want a 0.99 1 ounce fine silver. That's the only bars you should buy as fine silver. You could, you know, look up a local dealer, develop a relationship with them, and let them test coins for you, or your silver or your gold bars, whatever you've been buying. Kind of get an idea. You know, you want to pay attention to details. It does help to know the differences in fake coins versus authentic coins. I mean, that's something you should know before you even start buying coins. You got to know the fakes. You got to know the ones that are copies. Not all of them have copy on them. Some of them are silver. Some of them are gold. So that's important to know, especially when it comes to your Pandas and your Morgans and your trade dollars. You know, I've got videos on that too, and I recommend watching those videos because they will help you out and to help you identify these coins. Because you don't want to fall for a bait coin. You know, there's coins out there that people are selling they bought off AliExpress, and obviously those coins are fake. Some people don't know they're obvious fakes. They buy them thinking they're getting a good deal, and they try to sell them and realize they got ripped off. So you don't want to fall into that category. You know, another thing is you don't want to get into, and I mentioned not buying the fake slabs. You don't want to buy the fake slab coins. A lot of those coins are cleaned and are overgraded. You're not going to make any money on them. You know, you'll often pay up for those because you think you're getting a good deal. Maybe they got it right. It's not worth trying those. Sometimes you can get a really good deal on a lot of coins. You can cherry pick them. Let's say you buy a Mercury Dime collection, a Roosevelt Dime collection, or a quarter collection, or a Franklin half dollar collection, or a bunch of proof sets. You can take those coins and you can go through the best of the best and card them up. And sometimes you can sell them to dealers at the shows like that. The rest of them you can get online. There are certain coin dealers who publish their buy sheets and their buy list, and you can look down through and see if maybe those Kennedy half proofs that you have, you can sell them, send them off to them, and they'll pay you 75 cents a piece for them. And it's worth doing, because if you card them up and you spend all your time in them, and even if you get $1, by the time it's all said and done, you pretty much are breaking even on them. And that's one way to sell coins too. You can sell to other dealers that way. You can get rid of some of the stuff that you're not moving very much of. You know, and I do want to make it clear in my last video, I was not saying that you pass up all 2x2 carded coins. My point is that online you don't want to buy carded coins that you can't see the coin very well, and it has all this hype on it, like the coin's dimple, the coin's rare, the coin's worth this much. It'll have $1,000, $10,000 on the little holder. Those are the ones you want to avoid. If you see carded coins, you know, at a coin show or at a flea market, and you can examine that coin and you know what you're looking at, sure. I mean, go ahead and buy it if you think that it's a good deal, if you think that it's labeled appropriately. A perfect example, I was at a coin show recently, and a dealer had a 1935 Buffalo nickel, and he had double die on it. So I looked at the coin, and the reverse was doubled. And, you know, I wasn't 100% sure if the coin was going to be cleaned or not, or probably it was in a kind of, the holder was kind of in bad shape, but I knew that it was a double die. So I went ahead and paid the dealer what he wanted for it. And you know, it turned out to be an FS 801. I sent it off to NGC, and they just graded it Mint State 62. You know, the last one sold in 2014, and both of them went for about $3,800. So I'm not saying pass it up, because that's one of my cherry picks, and you can cherry pick some coins when you do look at some of these holders. You know, and I know, everybody knows that you're supposed to buy low and sell high. You know, that's common sense in this business. These videos are catered to people to help them learn how to buy low and then learn how to sell higher. That's the whole important aspect of these videos. And as far as gray sheet bids concerned, you know, you're always going to have people come in and think that your coins are worth less and they want to pay you less. I mean, they haggle you at flea markets, they haggle us at the coin shop, they'll haggle you at coin shows. And I kind of go by the 10-80-10 rule. You know, 10% don't care what you got a price on. If they want it, then they'll buy it. Okay, 80% want a good deal, they'll haggle a little bit, but they're realistic and they understand you have to make some money and you're trying to make a little extra cash or whatever it is you're doing, support your dealership. So they'll pay a fair price. 10% you just can't deal with. They're so unreasonable in their offers and they want to lowball you and they think they deserve best deals from you and cherry pick your stuff, and you know, those are the type you usually can't deal with and usually can't sell to. If you go by those, realize that most people are realistic. Most people are understanding. The gray sheet or what I say in these videos is not going to affect that. It's not going to change that at all. I mean, matter of fact, it should educate people a little bit more into understanding that someone sitting up at a table had to pay for that table. A person sitting up at that table may have a shop and they've got a family, you know, and they're trying to feed their family. You know, so that's all those things go into play. You know, it's all about making a little bit of money. You went through the trouble of finding the deals and you bring it to the table and you set up at a show and then you try to sell it for a decent price. Most people, most collectors understand that. Ultimately, the value of a coin will be determined by what it's sold for most recently. eBay sold Buy It Now auctions, Heritage sold auctions, Stacks and Bowers sold auctions are perfect examples of what a coin is actually worth. I recommend anyone to use their phones or their mobile device of any kind or a computer or laptop at the shows, look up what a coin has sold for recently and make your deals that way. That's what most dealers are going to do, and it goes for currency, it goes for any coin currency that you buy. Look it up. I mean, that's really, you can haggle over price guides all day long. You can worry about gray sheet, you can worry about Red Book, Coin World. What it sold for recently is what that coin's worth. If you don't understand the minting process, like how double dies occur or how mint errors occur, I wouldn't involve myself in trying to sell error coins. There's so many damaged coins out there, and if you don't understand the process of how they're created, then you shouldn't sell them. There's just too many out there trying to sell junk coins and damaged coins like they're mint errors, and they're not. You really have to understand how mint errors occur and the difference between varieties of mint errors. Yeah, you need to know the difference between double dies, and you need to know the difference between mechanical doubled, die deterioration doubling. If you think die cracks increase the value of a coin, then you need to do some research, okay? Because let's say you've got a 2000 Wounded Eagle and a Sacagawea dollar. That's a die gouge. Same thing with 2005 Bison nickel. It's called the Speared Bison. Those are die gouges. There are die cracks on the hind quarters of a bison, and people are calling it the Speared Bison. And that's not completely accurate, but it does bring a premium. But when you look at die cracks on coins, most of them just do not add value. Most die cracks are actually pups or pickup points for varieties, but not always. Sometimes die cracks can be on coins and the coin's not a variety. And that's just the way it works in this business. You have to understand that minor errors don't add a lot of value to your coins. When you're trying to sell them, you got to realize that you want the varieties that are worth some money, and that takes a lot of looking, a lot of cherry picking, and a lot of research to learn that. And I wanted to cover a little bit more on local auctions and your online local auctions. You know, you really have to watch because there can be shield bidding going on. You can't prove it or not prove it, disprove it, but you've got to be careful because you can get bid up by people. There are some that just want to bid the win. They don't care whether they pay a high price or not. They've got the money. They just keep the paddle up. And I'm telling you, you can really pay up on a coin. And if you get in a bidding war with someone and your ego gets in the way, you can lose your hind end on some coins. So that's why I don't recommend local coin auctions. I'm not saying you don't go to them and try a little bit, but you've got to go to a certain point and not let emotions get involved and stay there. And also, I recommend if you want to go to local auctions, go to the local auctions that don't advertise the coins they have in auction. You can always call them up and say, hey, you got any coins coming up for auction? And if they say yes and you don't see much of it in an ad or it's not covered very much, then it's not going to attract a bunch of dealers and attract a bunch of collectors or a bunch of flippers. So that's the kind of auction you want to go to. Something else that you might want to learn to do is to learn about world coins. A lot of dealers don't care about world coins. Some of them won't even buy the silver. Each country has different amounts of silver in their coins, and learning that is a good idea because you can sometimes cherry pick some silver coins from bins, lots, the dealer's rejects. You can also pick out maybe some high grade coins that are worth a little more because they're higher grade, and also you can pick out varieties that the dealers just don't care about. I mean, most of them have these boxes that you can just go through of coins, and you might find some little hidden gems in them. So that's another little secret that maybe you can learn. Learn a little bit about the world coins and maybe find a few little things in those lots. I mean, I see those at shows all the time. And most of them probably don't have coins in them that you can do this with, but you never know. So it's always worth a try. So I do recommend that you watch part 1 of this series and learn the other aspects that I talked about. And hopefully this video brought you some more tips and tricks and helped clarify a few things from the last video. And thanks for watching it. And please like, share, and comment. And have a great day.